Yo, yo, yo! It is I, Captain Proton, and do you see this? Huh? Do you see this? Anyone who rapes people is scum, the scum of the earth, but here you go.
How can it go so wrong? Why do some people just seemingly have an unclenchable thirst to inflict pain and suffering onto others?
I don't
An
know.
addiction that melts itself with a sexual drive and sexual thoughts. Chimpanzees display
Why are
some
you
signs of
asking
sadism.
me?
They can be ruthless. They'll rip your balls off and gouge your eyes out. That may be one of those things that they do instinctively.
I'm having
Maybe tearing
fun.
into your face works as a defense to weaken their opponent. Maybe ripping your balls off is to make sure that you won't reproduce. But there have been instances.
Sure.
Instances where the chimpanzees, just like us, display brutal acts of sadism. And just like with us, the chimpanzees do it to themselves. They'll gang up on their target and torture it. They'll
Sure.
dip their fingers into the flesh, and they'll bite areas that isn't necessary to bite if you simply want to win a fight.
Sure.
That's monkeys, right? They have
Right.
a wild and savage aura about them. Humans are more intelligent, more sophisticated. But once in a blue moon, something will snap in someone's head. We saw it with Ted Bundy. On paper, he was everything a human being is supposed to be. Sophisticated, intelligent, and social. He was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in one. He had these two sides. One was kind of elegant and well-groomed. The other was savage and feral.
In a way, he was definitely like
Most of us keep
them.
control.
Not in a way.
Wild beast inside, and some of us, like Ted Bundy,
Anyway.
uses both sides to work together towards a common goal. Some use it to create, and some use it to destroy. But we all know about Ted Bundy already. Many of us know that he liked to bite, a very raw and intimate way to hurt someone. But while Ted was strolling around in America before anyone had even heard about him, there was another man who liked to bite. His name was Wayne Bowden, and in the time frame of a couple of years, he haunted the city of Montreal, and would since then become known as the Vampire
Rapist. He liked to buy and rape. By the way, I'm digging the theme music. Edges of Murder, Experiment 53, Predator and Pack.
See it all began with normal vein report. But did it really? I'm not so sure that it did. It was on July 23rd, 1968 that the dead body of Norma Vaillancourt was found nude and brutalized. She had been raped by her killer and he had supposedly bit her breast. The connection she would have to Wayne Bowden, also known as Bill, was the MO and the signature biting.
But Bill Bowden
was the killer of Norma Valancourt, but it has been claimed that a man named Raymond Suave confessed to the murder of Norma Valancourt, but I can't confirm that. In short, the murder kind of remains as a mystery. It's possible that she was the first victim of the Vampire Rapist, but it's also possible that Raymond Suave killed her. I have found no proof of either scenario. But Norma aside, the Vampire Rapist would still claim 4 victims, and he made his first confirmed appearance in 1969.
By the way, anyone who kills a person is
young woman. She was
fucked
70 years old and suffered
in
severely
the
from
head.
illness. She had moved to Dorchester with her friend Kenneth.
Anyone who kills
Despite having a friend
another
in the same house, things
person.
were complicated for Shirley. Every time Kenneth would have to leave for work, young Shirley would get worked up. She would get nervous and anxious. She didn't want to stay inside the apartment by herself, so she often sat outside on the front steps while Kenneth was away. She sat there troubled, vulnerable, and exposed to the elements. Sometime earlier, Shirley had gotten a new neighbor in the apartment complex. He was tall, handsome, and very charming. His name was Wayne Bowden. It was in October of 1969, around 2 a.m., as Kenneth was working his night shift, that Shirley again decided to sit on the front steps. That's when he appeared in front of her. He was charismatic and managed to charm her quite easily. She felt a sense of safety with this man, but little did she know that it was all a front, a prop to lure her in. She even called her boyfriend that night and told him that she was hanging out with a new friend she had met. It was at some point during the night, however, that Wayne shifted his gears. His urges were scratching to act out. He was like a caged animal that just couldn't wait to open the lock. Tried to call Shirley at around 5 a.m., 3 hours after she had met with Bowden, but she was already dead by that point. She was found outside, behind the apartment building. She was still wearing her clothes, but she had clearly been through something horrific. Her cause of death was strangulation, but it was what had occurred before the strangulation that worried detectives. She had been raped, rather violently, and the killer and rapist had also bit her. He had dug his teeth into her breasts, leaving a distinct bite mark. A signature move that would ultimately be his downfall. After her death, some stories came out. Stories that she enjoyed the more violent sex acts, that she had participated in dangerous sex before.
Giving you all the angles.
And those rumors have today grown to be a part of the legend. It has been claimed that Wayne Bowden targeted his victims that way, that he chose women who wanted to engage in dangerous consensual sex and then went over the top and killed them. But there's absolutely no evidence of that whatsoever. Whether Shirley was into that kind of stuff or not will probably never be known, but Shirley aside, the other victims were just that, innocent victims, fooled by Wayne Bowden and his charming front. Another thing that adds a layer of tragedy to the murder of Shirley or death is that she was pregnant when she died.
Oh my
Wayne Bowden
God.
is embracing this new mantle as the Vampire Rapist.
Okay.
Little more than a month had gone by since the murder of Shirley Death, and Wayne Bowden, the Vampire Rapist, was focusing his attention on another victim. Her name was Marielle Archambault, and just like Shirley, she was 20 years old when she died. It was in the fall of 1969, and Marielle was out partying at a nightclub. At some point, she met a handsome, charming fella, Wayne Bowden. The two hit it off pretty well and kept in contact with each other. And that is how he got her where he wanted her. One day, Wayne picked Marielle up from work and was going to drive her home and have sex with her. But things didn't go as Marielle had planned. When Marielle didn't show up for work at the jewelry store the next day, her co-workers started getting worried. And so they contacted police. Police broke into her apartment, and at first nothing seemed too weird. Well, except for the smell, I assume. It didn't take too long for them to find Marielle's corpse. She was laying on her couch, her bra had been torn off, and she had been raped, strangled to death. Just like with Shirley though, Marielle had a bite mark on her right breast. It was clear to investigators at this point that they had a problem on their hands. The vampire rapist had struck again. Jean Way was 24 years old. She and Wayne Bowden were friends,
Wayne
but they were not in a
Clifford
sexual relationship.
Bowden.
Jean had been dating another
Wayne
man for a while,
Bowden.
but she had trusted Wayne enough to allow him into her apartment. And so, on the night of January 17, 1970, Jean Way died. She had been taken to her home.
Bad decision.
He had
Letting him
He had raped
in
her, put a belt around her neck,
the
squeezing it
apartment.
until she died. He didn't
Oh
find
my
Jean, though.
God.
The crime scene indicated that she had been in a struggle with her assailant that night. Before Wayne Bowden left her dead body there, the belt still embracing her throat, he threw a green blanket over her, only the feet sticking out. Jean's boyfriend, the man she had been dating, had made plans with Jean that night. He was going to see her, but as he stood outside, no one would open the door. What he didn't know was that not far away, his girlfriend was being raped and strangled. The boyfriend went to a bar, had a few drinks, and returned. I don't know how, but he managed to get inside the apartment at this point and saw the feet sticking out of the blanket. And as he pulled them off, he saw her dead, blank expression, frozen in time, frozen in a moment of terror and tragedy. A little more than a year had gone by, and Montreal hadn't seen any trace of the vampire rapist.
I wonder why.
At this point, but 2,500 miles away in Calgary, Canada, a 33-year-old schoolteacher named Elizabeth Porteous would become the final victim of Wayne Bowden. It was in May of 1971 when he chose her to be next. He doesn't strike me as an overly impulsive serial killer. He reminds me more of a cold and calculated serial killer, but it's clear that he had a hard time controlling his sexual drive once he got himself worked up. Maybe that's what happened with Elizabeth, because it was really dumb of him to kill her. They had been seen together on many occasions, and he had been
Really
picking her up on the day of the murder.
stupid.
They had been dating for a while, so Elizabeth surely had no issue letting him inside her apartment.
Well, stupid to murder anyone because
he raped her and strangled her just like with his other victims.
why murder? They could be your friends.
It didn't take long for the connections to be made.
You don't murder friends.
And some of her friends told them of Bill, a handsome man with neat hair, she was saying. Police learned that Wayne Bowden was a former fashion model, and that he was now working as a traveling salesman.
Well, you shouldn't.
But the biting, his signature move, would become his downfall as the bite marks left on Elizabeth Porteous' corpse was compared to his teeth. And it was a match.
Some people do bite.
So he confessed to the murders of Shirley, Marielle, and Jean in Montreal, but he never confessed to murdering Norma Vaillancourt. And as I said earlier, another man confessed to murdering her 26 years after that happened. Bowden eventually became nothing more than a bad memory for the city of Montreal. Although he had a short burst of media attention driven to him in 1977 after he had escaped prison, he was only outside for 36 hours though, as he was recaptured eating a meal in a downtown Montreal restaurant. After that, he began wasting away, and in 2006, he died. He was lonely, and he had been overshadowed by other killers throughout the years. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Paul and Carl Malta, John Gacy, and more. He never got any fame for the innocent lives he took between 1969 and 1971.
Good killers shouldn't get
the handsome, intelligent monster, the vampire rapist Wayne Bowden, fell into obscurity, leaving nothing but tragedy and destruction behind.
Killers shouldn't get famous. You're giving them what they want. Don't give them what they want. And the next one, we're gonna see two of them. Demons, werewolves, and vampires. Who? Oh. Double feature. Evil brothers.
Elmo and Eddie enjoyed their time together as brothers. Elmo was the oldest and in his late 20s.
Oh, we
He was
might
the
be
leader, the
seeing.
big brother. Both of them were known by the local police force in St. Martin's Parish in Louisiana. They were miscreants, small-time criminals,
Ray.
but that would soon change.
Yeah, we're seeing.
No one really knows why they did what they did on the night of November 5th, 1977. They were out rabbit hunting that night, and not so far away from their hunting spot was a lonely car parked. Inside the car were the young couple Loretta Burke, 18, and David LeBlanc, 16. They had been attending a high school football game that evening, and as happens when you're young and in love, they wanted to trade their passions with one another. The Lovers' Lane in a remote area in St. Martin's Parish would be a good place. So after the game, they drove out to the Lovers' Lane. It was empty, at least as far as they knew.
David
They were alone,
LeBlanc.
finally. But they weren't alone. Elmo and Eddie
LeBlanc.
somewhere spotted the car, and an idea popped into Elmo's head. We don't know for sure that it was Elmo that suggested what they were about to do, but he was, as I said, the leader, the one that called the shots. So I highly doubt that it was his younger brother Eddie that came up with the ruse. The plan was to fool the young lovers in the car. One of the brothers had been working as a security guard not that long ago, and they still had the badge. The badge could easily be mistaken for a police badge, especially if used with authority. The two brothers walked up to the car and rapped on the window. Dazzled and taken off guard, the two youngsters opened the car door, and as they did, the two brothers informed them that they were trespassing on private property, and that they were to be taken to the landowner to determine if he wanted to press charges. The two brothers even confiscated the two teenagers' driving licenses. They had them now. The two teenagers, confused and on edge, were handcuffed and placed in the back seat of their own car. Elmo and Eddie got in the car too and began driving, leaving their own car behind. The two brothers drove the teenagers 21 miles out near a desolate oil field in Iberia Parish.
Oh my.
As they reached the oil field, however, the demeanor of the brothers changed. They stopped by the fields, and the teenagers were taken to the tree line nearby. There the brothers handcuffed 16-year-old David to a tree, and while Eddie kept an eye on David, Elmo, the big brother, dragged Loretta, 18 years old, a short distance deeper into the forest. There he threw her on the ground and raped her. There was nothing she could do.
Yeah.
Her life was in their hands now. Elmo then gave the terrified young woman a proposition. He promised that he would let them go free, let them live, if she agreed to have sex with his younger brother Eddie. I'm not sure why Eddie didn't rape in the same way as his brother. Perhaps Loretta had become hysterical at this point and it was hard to make her submit with force. Or perhaps Eddie had an issue with the prospect of a forceful rape. Another sign that Elmo was indeed the leader of the two. So instead of violently raping her, they forced her to pretend to have consensual sex with Eddie in exchange for her life. But as Eddie finished, the promise that had been given was about to be broken. The two brothers were both armed with .22 caliber rifles that they had been using shooting rabbits, so they removed David's and Loretta's handcuffs and at gunpoint forced them to march back to the car. But they stopped on the way and the brothers got into a heated discussion with each other. They didn't want to murder the teenager, but they knew that if the two youngsters went to the police, that they would be sent back to the penitentiary that they had been in before. They would be sent back, alright, because to fix the problem they agreed that they had to kill the couple. Elmo forced the teenagers to lay on the ground and Eddie held a flashlight pointing at them. Then Elmo aimed a .22 caliber rifle at the back of Loretta's head, but the first shot missed and hit the ground beside her. At that point, young Loretta began sobbing. She didn't want to die. Both her and David had begged the two to spare them. They had promised that they would never tell anybody, but promises wasn't worth anything anymore. It was the time for actions. The first bullet might have missed, but the next bullet hit Loretta in the back of the head. She died instantly, face down to the ground. Elmo shot her in the head 2 more times and then turned his rifle to David. Elmo shot David in the back of the head 3 times as well. Shooting once would have been enough, but it needed to be done properly. After the murders, the brothers drove back to where their own car was parked. They destroyed the couple's driving licenses and buried the rifles they had brought in a remote area in the woods. They felt confident that they were going to get away with it, that there was no longer any trace back to them. So after that was taken care of, they got into their own car and drove home. The brothers wasn't as slick as they thought, though. The local man had spotted their car near the site of the abduction, and as the murders was discovered, it caused a massive uproar in the community. It didn't take long for the man to tell the police of the car he had seen, and it was quickly linked to the Sonier brothers. They managed to prevent an arrest for 1 month, but on December 5th, 1977, they were both brought into custody, and the youngest brother, Eddie, was quick to confess. They blamed each other for who had shot the couple, but all the evidence pointed to Elmo.
Oh, God almighty, you stupid idiot.
But he was far from innocent. Both brothers were sentenced to death in 1978, but appeals and subsequent trial changed their judgments. Eddie was given life imprisonment. Big brother Elmo wasn't.
Their family.
Towards the end, he became very religious and kept close contact with a nun. But it didn't matter how much he prayed. He was responsible for rape and double murder, and on April 5th, 1984,
Bang.
Elmo Sonier was strapped into the electric chair in the penitentiary where Elmo had been locked up before.
Electric chair.
This time it wasn't he spoke out a few chapters from the Bible and apologized to David with
just like that.
But he didn't say anything to Loretta's father. As the hood was placed over his head, he whispered to the nun beside him that he loved her, and she responded saying that she loved him too. Then 4 fucking jolts of electricity shot through Elmo's body, and just like that, Elmo Sonier died.
But don't swear. Picture number 2. The Werewolf of San Francisco.
What a name to live up to.
Yeah.
You probably never heard of Harry Gordon. He is one of those serial killers that fell by the wayside. One of those serial killers with very little information to find. Harry Gordon has 2 nicknames. One of them was the Gorilla, partly because of his stature and his huge hands.
Very.
Although he was a rather short fella. His other name is the Werewolf from San Francisco, The reason he was called a werewolf was because of the wounds he would carve into his victims using a sharp razor blade. The wounds would look like claw marks. They would look like they had been savaged by a werewolf. But all that's just trivia. I always want to go as deep as I can, so let's go ahead and dig our claws into this one. 5 years before the werewolf murdered Betty Coffin in San Francisco, there was a couple of deaths in San Diego that early on was thought to be linked to the werewolf murders. On February 20, 1931, 11-year-old Virginia Brooks was found hung by a tree. Her body had been mutilated, thrown down a hill, and then her killer had tied a very unusual sailor's knot around her throat and hung her by the tree.
Oh,
It was a
God.
shocking discovery. It may have even been written off as a one-time thing, but 2 months after the murder of 11-year-old Virginia Brooks, another girl was murdered in San Diego. This time it was a 17-year-old artist. Her name was Louise Tuber. Just like Virginia Brooks, her body had been disfigured in horrible ways, and she too had been hung by a tree. The knot used in Louise Tuber's murder was identical to the one used in the murder of Virginia Brooks. A sailor was thought to be responsible. Harry Gordon, as just so happens to be, was a sailor at that time. I'm not sure what other connections there are, but I assume the mutilation inflicted upon both girls in a very similar way as the mutilation the werewolf would inflict upon his victim.
It would seem that the nice girls don't
New York City.
love a sailor.
Wilhelm Johnston lived with his wife and 2 kids in a nice apartment. On October 21st, 1933, Wilhelm and Florence had left their kids at the neighbor's house to go to the store. Shortly after they had returned home, something happened. Loud crashing noises could be heard from the apartment, and loud noises sounding Scandinavian be heard. Eventually, a deafening shriek was heard, followed by what sounded like someone struggling. Then another shriek pierced the apartment building, and silence fell over the place. It was eerie. What had happened to Wilhelm Johnston and Florence Johnston? Not so shockingly, police were contacted, and as they arrived, they were first met with a large bloodstain outside the Johnstons' front door. Forcing the door open, the 2 police officers was met with a chaotic scene. The furniture had been thrown around and the place was in disarray. The police officers methodically made their way through the apartment and eventually reached the bedroom.
Yeah.
Over the bed was the body of Florence Johnston. She had been strangled, her clothes had been ripped off, and she had deep, straight razor marks decorating her body, exposing her flesh. It almost looked like she had been cut open with a razor, like someone had tried to do an autopsy on her. It was a horrible scene to find, but where were the others? Well, the 2 Johnston kids were found at the neighbor's house, but they were no help to investigators, and Wilhelm Johnston seemed to be missing. He was presumed to have met with a tragic fate, and the rivers nearby was dragged, but he was never found. Well, he would be found, but things weren't what everyone seemed to think they were. You see, Wilhelm Johnston had moved to America at a young age. His father had brought him there from Denmark in 1903, and by the late 1920s he had met Florence, his future wife. But Wilhelm had these weird compulsions, and on that day his wife had gotten so angry with him that she had thrown a flower pot on his head. This made Wilhelm furious. He grabbed his wife's throat with his ape-like hands and held on until she got limp and her pulse couldn't be felt anymore. Then he took her clothes off, put her on the bed, and began carving into her flesh with a razor and a knife. After the murder, Wilhelm Johnston fled from New York. He changed his name to Harry Gordon and eventually, with a new wife, moved to San Francisco. You see, Harry Gordon wasn't born as Harry Gordon, he was born Wilhelm Johnston. I don't mean to be confusing, but I'm trying to tell you a story, not just spit out facts and tidbits. If you're still confused, Wilhelm Johnston and Harry Gordon, the werewolf, is the same person.
Wilhelm
In
Johnston.
1934, 1 year before the murder of Betty Coffin, there were 2 other murders that could be linked to Harry Gordon. It was Louise Jeppesen, a red-haired, beautiful young lady that was found in the Golden Gate Park, strangled, nude, and mutilated horribly.
Oh
There was also
my
Mrs. Ruby
God.
Allen, found murdered under very similar circumstances. But it was in April of 1935 that the focus would be locked onto the werewolf. Anna Lemon was a cleaning lady. She worked at the Waterfront Hotel in San Francisco, and on that evening, just like on any other, she took the ferry over to her workplace. She arrived a bit late, but no one seemed to really care either way. She had her duties. 2 rooms needed cleaning. The first room was just like any other.
So I'm like, don't care.
It was the scene hiding behind door number 2 that would scar Anna Lemon and imprint images in her head that she would never get rid of. She knocked on the door of the room to make sure the inhabitants had gone away before entering using her staff key. At first it seemed normal. It was pretty neat and tidy in there. Anna Lemon then saw the dresser. A couple of knobs was missing. There were panties and a bra strewn out on the top of it. That was weird. But as she got closer and looked towards the bed, things got weirder. On the bed was Betty Coffin, a red-haired young lady known under different names as a local prostitute. Betty Coffin looked like she was still sleeping. She was laying on her back and her arms were stretched out. Anna noticed something covering the woman's face, and as she called out to wake her up, she tugged the covers down. Now she could see that something was wrapped around the woman's head. Something was very wrong there. She saw that it was a towel and she began unwrapping it. And as she uncovered it, she was met with a gruesome sight.
Blood.
She could see Betty Coffin's face now. It had several wounds scraped across. Someone had taken out a razor blade and just gone nuts on Betty Coffin's face. The wounds looked like claw marks, like a wild animal had gotten on top of Betty and scratched her across the face over and over. Betty's eyes were open and lifeless, and around them the skin was black. Someone had punched her hard in the face. Her mouth was taped shut with adhesive tape, and while most of her skin was bleak white, it was the imprints of 2 large hands on her neck, blue and swollen. The werewolf had really gone crazy on this one. Betty Coffin's chest was just as scratched as her face, and her abdomen was discolored and bruised, probably from being struck over and over. Betty had suffered a horrible fate, but Anna noticed something else as well. It was hard to make out what was what with all the deep razor wounds on Betty Coffin's chest, but it looked like one of her breasts was missing. Then as Anna turned her head towards the nightstand, she saw it. The severed breast was just laying there, removed from its body. Anna had been frozen in place, but the sight of the breast shook her so that she managed to break away, and as she did, she ran down to the desk and told her superior that a woman was dead. It didn't take too long after that for the police to arrive. They didn't find out too much. They knew that a Mr. and Mrs. Myers had checked into the hotel posing as husband and wife.
In
The husband later on went down to the
Sacramento.
reception and asked where he could get a sandwich for his wife. He was given directions, but he never returned. This was the werewolf's second confirmed victim. His first was his own wife, although that would not be confirmed until it was caught and confessed. The second one was Betty Coffin, but there was one more victim. 5 years
Werewolves and vampires are related,
Her
they're
name was Irene
cousins.
McCarthy, and just like Betty Coffin, she was found inside a hotel room. It was again a cleaning lady that discovered the nude and mutilated body of Irene McCarthy. She had been jammed in between the bed frame and the wall, almost tucked away. She was naked all over except for the black stocking she wore. Her body was stale and her legs were sticking straight out. The killer had gone crazy on her as well. He had slashed her several times with a razor, and he had cut off chunks of her flesh and just thrown it aside. This time though, he had also burned his victim with cigarettes and matches. She had been punched in the face just like Betty Coffin, and she had several deep claw-like wounds in her face. A belt was tied tightly around her throat, and beneath the belt was a mark of 2 huge hands. This time he had tried to strangle his victim manually, but resorted to using a belt instead. Both Betty and Irene had other similarities too, besides the horrible disfigurement. Both were known to be seen with sailors down by the dock, and both were known prostitutes. Another thing about both murders is that there was a surprising lack of amount of blood present, and it was almost like the killer had presented an autopsy on his victims.
No blood.
The police got to work. They hadn't caught him in 1935, but now they had to. They had to find him, or who knew how long it would take to kill again, and where he would pop up again. They knew that it was the same killer, and he had displayed a surprising amount of knowledge of the police procedures. The smudged fingerprints he had left at the scene. But as police worked their way through the dock workers and the working girls, they found a suspect, Harry Gordon. Blue, watery eyes, short but muscular, and huge hands. The arrest wasn't as dramatic as has been portrayed in some places. Harry, when confronted, simply lowered his head and began confessing almost immediately. He refused to confess to the unsolved murders in San Diego and Golden Gate Park murders of Louise Jefferson and Mrs. Ruby Allen, but he did confess to murdering his wife in New York, and he told police of his true name, Wilhelm Johnston. Regardless of what he confessed to, though, it didn't matter for him. 3 murders was enough for a death sentence,
Stupid idiot.
and it was carried out only a year after his arrest, in 1941. He was executed in the gas chamber at the San Quentin prison.
Good.
I apologize for the lack of images during this feature. I just threw 5 photos of this fucking guy. Although I managed to find a few photos, he's not really as visually pleasing. But even without the visual support, the story deserved to be told, and as I dug deeper into the case,
It did.
I began to realize that he could almost have his own episode of Ages of Murder. I usually say to myself that if the case is going to be shorter than 10 minutes, it's too small. And clearly, Harry Gordon goes above that to me.
Yeah.
But this is where he ended up nonetheless. And it just goes to show the unpredictability of the double feature.
Of the double feature. Okay, that was double feature. The Vampire Rapist is long gone. So
Have you ever heard a really good?
no. So I'm gonna go now. So Captain Proton, out.